Hi everyone, it's Carla here today. I am here to share with you my second guest design team project for Natasha's Scrapbook Corner. So I laid out some of the things that I used in today's project. I used some of these gorgeous rhinestone buckles that she sells, and they are so beautiful. You can just see how much shine they have. I used some of this tulle, and it has these gorgeous gold flecks on it. Super pretty, and this is only how much I have left. I had like 4 yards of it. I used some of this trim. So gorgeous. I used a little bit of this trim and this trim also. So beautiful. So let me show you the first project. I actually made 2 different things. And the first one is quite large, so I'll start with that one. And here it is. And I'm gonna zoom out. Oops. Okay, so let me just rearrange a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna have to pick up my camera to get it all in. So, this is a Valentine's wreath, a Shabby Chic Valentine's wreath. It's not quite as pink. For some reason the camera's making it look a little bit too pink. But here it is, top to bottom. And what it is, I used extra large embroidery hoop, and I took some white tulle and then some of the other tulle that I just showed you with the gold flecks, and I basically did like a slip knot, and I did it all the way around. So that was the first thing I did. And then I made this really pretty handle with some white seam binding and the gold fleck tulle. And at the base, I added one of Natasha's beautiful rhinestone buckles. And then I started with the flowers. So she sells this fabric in her store as part of a set. It's a Tilda fabric. So I made a pretty 5-petal flower there, and then I added this flower center and a doily, and then here's a little bird from her shop. Let me zoom in a little. Isn't that bird so adorable? So I added that there, and then here's another flower that I made. This is a flower inspired by Trisha, who's a little Shabby Chic here on YouTube. And then I put this really pretty Parisian cabochon, and then I had little bits of trim left over that I was using from Natasha's shop, so I just tucked some in there. And then she carries these super pretty tulle, sorry about that, flowers. So I had them in this color. Let me show you. I used them all, but here's a tag I made earlier, and you see that red tulle flower at the base? Well, she has them in several colors, and so this color, pink, is the same style. And what I did was I just folded it over and over and tucked it in here, just for a fun pop of color. And then I had this really long trim in my stash, and over it I put this other trim from Natasha's shop, which I used all of it. So I love that. It has the little flowers at the top. And then moving down is another this beautiful pearl spray that I had in my stash, and so I tucked back in here another flower from my stash, and then I made this gorgeous flower. So you can see in comparison to my hand, it's huge. So I had some pink lace, and I made the flower, and then I layered it with doilies, and then I had this butterfly that I purchased from Natasha's store, and I've been holding on to this for a very long time. And then I just finally decided it is time to use it. And I love how it looks. And then I added some of this trim from the store that I just showed you. And I love how it just dangles down. And then you can see there's more of the tulle, and then here's another one of those larger pieces from my stash, and over it is the same dangle trim from the other side. And then I used some of these smaller ones, and it's so dangly, I love it. And then here's another flower I made, and I just layered it on a doily. It's very poofy. And I just added this little satin flower, a doily, and some pearl. And this pearl strand, I have it in this light pink and the ivory, and so you can see it's kind of woven through here and there on the wreath. And then here's another flower that was from my stash, and then another little lovebird there. And they're so tiny and cute. I just can't stand it. I love them. So what I'm going to do is, because it's rather large, I'm going to put some pictures. I'm not sure if I'll put them at the beginning or the end of the video, but you could see this hanging up, and everything just drapes so beautifully. And what's really cool about this is you can use it as a centerpiece. So if you have a candle, just make sure it's in glass, or it's one of those electronic battery ones. You just put it in the middle, and that would make a very romantic Valentine's Day centerpiece, or just hang it somewhere, and you can use this year-round. But I had so much fun making this. It's so romantic. So let me show you the second thing that I made. I was having so much fun, I couldn't stop creating. Okay, so here is the second thing that I made. This is definitely a fabric book, and the fabric on the cover is also sold in the Tilda pink pack that she sells, and I'll put links to everything below so you can just see all the dangle. And I just love touching this, and there's so much texture. So at the bottom I put this trim all the way around, even on the spine and on the back, and came across this beautiful image on Pinterest, and that trim, let me pull out that trim again. Sorry guys, hold on just a second. Okay, so here's the trim that I keep going back to. I'm just in love with it. So what I did was I cut, this section at the top that kind of curves. I cut that part off, and I used it to frame the lady. And then at the bottom she has this really cute heart, like a pom-pom trim, but it's hearts. So I put that at the bottom and the top. This is an applique for my stash, and then I made this beautiful cluster with an applique, and then some ivory roses, and this beautiful lavender bird couple. So beautiful. And I just love how this book came out. It is so shabby chic, feminine, very springy. So it's not a traditional mini though, so you open it up, and it's very different than anything I've seen, and I'll explain in a second. Here's that trim again, and what it is an altered roll. So here's a fabric roll, so you unwind it, unroll it, and you're left with this beautiful, not a landscape, but just a beautiful background. So what it is a piece of muslin, and so it comes to about here, and I decorated it, and this is the trim from Natasha's store, and then I had some of this in my stash that I purchased from her store in the past. Here's another gorgeous trim on the side, and then the two white satin flowers with the little birds. And then here is that gorgeous trim, but it's not cut, it's all together. Another applique here and here, the same trim from the bottom, from that side. So that trim with the flowers, I repeated it here. And then if you lift the dangles, this is the fringe trim that Natasha sells. It is to die for. I mean, I love it. It's got beiges and creams, and it's very tattery looking. It's so gorgeous. And then with this layered over it, oh, I'm in love. I just love it so much. And then in the background, I added this braided trim that Natasha sells, and it's so dainty and delicate. I love it. So this is not a finished book. This is meant to be given to someone who can add photos or maybe a pretty flower that they wanted to put in a special keepsake book. So like this is a flower from Natasha's store. So let's say I wanted to add that there just as almost like a journal for my fabrics. Here's a gorgeous flower that I made. And this is trim from Natasha's store. And this is a gorgeous brooch from her shop. And I pulled out from deep in the hoard vault for this, you guys. Stunning, absolutely stunning. So if you were going to make something like this for a friend, you can put the gift inside and then roll it. And then there's your book for your friend or for yourself or whatever. You could leave it empty too, of course. But I just thought it was a wonderful way to store cherished pieces. And I've seen some of you ladies do the altered trim and what looks like a sushi roll, you know. So this is my take on it. This is just a fabric roll. And so I left this pretty bare other than the applique. I feel like the laces really do speak for themselves. And I love that little bit of bling up here. And it just has all of this luscious texture. And it is so beautiful. So when you're done, you can even alter the other side. I chose not to. And I left the back pretty simple so that whoever's getting it can add their own touch. And then when you stand it up, look at all that dangle. I mean, it is just so precious. And I really love how this turned out. I really do. So anyways, those are my two projects for Natasha Scrapbook Corner for February. I hope everyone enjoyed the things I created. I had so much fun. Thank you so much, Natasha, for having me design alongside your very talented ladies. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to everyone soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.